10 myths about weight loss. The last one, 99% of people are still falling
Myth
for.
1.
Eating frequent small meals increases metabolism. Many people think eating small, frequent meals keeps the body in a constant state of digestion, thus increasing energy expenditure. A large meta-analysis found that whether you eat all your daily food in one meal or spread it out throughout the day, as long as the total calorie intake is the same, there is no difference in metabolic rate. Myth 2. Eating late at night makes you gain weight more easily than in the morning. This view has been refuted by numerous studies. The summary is, meal timing has no relationship with weight loss. In fact, one study even found that eating carbohydrates at night not only doesn't harm health, it can be more beneficial for weight loss and hormonal regulation. So, eating dinner late is perfectly fine. Just make sure that your daily calorie intake is less than your expenditure, and you'll be fine. But remember not to stay up too late, or turn junk food into a late-night snack. Myth 3. Dieting lowers metabolism. It was once believed that dieting or fasting would put your body into starvation mode, leading to permanent metabolic damage. However, research from Manohar and his team has overturned this idea. His study confirmed that the theory of permanent metabolic slowdown due to dieting is not supported by any scientific evidence. Myth 4. Overweight people are overweight because their metabolism is the opposite is true. The heavier you are, the higher your metabolic rate typically is. In other words, overweight people usually have a faster metabolism than those who maintain a healthy weight. Of course, overweight individuals may also have thyroid issues that significantly slows their metabolic rate. But being overweight itself does not prove that a slow metabolism is the cause. Myth 5. Intermittent fasting can help with weight loss. In fact, I quite like intermittent fasting like 16 to 8. But this diet is just a pattern. It's not a specific dietary plan. The main effect of intermittent fasting is not weight loss, as long as you consume the same number of calories, whether you spread them out or eat them in 1 or 2 meals. It makes no difference. A systematic review concluded that when the goal is weight and fat loss, intermittent fasting and regular calorie-restricted diets are very similar in effectiveness. Intermittent fasting itself does not create any specific biological conditions that promote weight loss. However, for many people, intermittent fasting may inadvertently lead to a reduction in daily calorie intake, which will aid their weight loss. Some people may even experience the opposite effect. Intermittent fasting may cause them to eat more because they can't control hunger. So, it's best to listen to your own body's signals. Myth 6. A very common misconception is that fat can be converted into muscle. This is absolutely impossible. However, some people can burn fat while gaining a small amount of muscle. This situation usually only occurs when beginners start exercising and in the first few months of weight loss because their muscles are more responsive to training. This coincidence can lead beginners to mistakenly believe fat is being converted into muscle, but this is actually impossible. Myth 7. Doing ab exercises reduces belly fat. In reality, no matter how many crunches you do, the belly fat will remain the same. Since 2011, the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research has had many studies proving you cannot target body fat through specific exercises. Researchers had participants perform 4 hours of abs training per week for 6 weeks. Despite all the efforts and exercises, there was no reduction in belly fat. There were no changes in weight, body fat percentage, waist circumference, or abdominal skin fold measurements. So, if you want a slim waist, you still need to achieve overall fat loss first. Myth 8. Cheating meals can boost metabolism. While cheating meals can help some people better control their appetite, they can also backfire for others. Some people are likely to turn a cheat meal into a massive binge. You don't need to cheat meals because you are worried about a slowing metabolism. Because this research has provided evidence. They assessed the metabolic impact of eating at 140% of maintenance for 3 consecutive days. They used a high-carbohydrate diet. The study found that despite the massive calorie surplus, total daily energy expenditure increased by only 7%. If you desperately need cheat meals to regulate yourself, it's better to try switching to a dietary pattern that makes you comfortable. Myth 9. A fat loss diet must be either low-fat or low-carb. In fact, many studies show that when calorie intake is the same, the ratio of carbohydrates to fat in the diet does not affect weight or fat loss. In other words, ketogenic and low-carb diets offers no special advantages for weight loss. If the carbs in your diet are very low, and you happen to love carbs, then your diet likely won't be effective, because you won't stick to it for long. Myth 10. Cardio on an empty stomach burns more fat. Researchers divided 20 participants into two groups. Both groups maintained a daily 500 calorie deficit. The only difference between the groups was that the first group performed 1 hour of fasted cardio 3 times a week, while the other group performed the same amount of cardio after eating. After 4 weeks, there was no difference in the amount of fat lost between the two groups. Their final conclusion was that whether you exercise on an empty stomach or after a meal, as long as your exercise volume and calorie deficit are the same, it will produce the same fat loss results. Myth 11. You must do cardio to lose weight. This meta-analysis, involving data from 14 studies and over 1,800 obese individuals, found that for obese populations, cardio exercise alone is not a very effective weight loss method. Another meta-analysis focusing on cardio exercises found that when the calorie deficit was equal, adding cardio exercises was not more effective than diet alone. The only difference was the cardio group lost 11 kilograms, while the diet-only group lost 10.7 kilograms. Exercise done purely for calorie expenditure is futile for some people. Adding exercise while dieting can subconsciously increase the desire to eat, making it harder to stick with it. If you are going to exercise anyway, it's better to focus more energy on strength training, because strength training not only increases expenditure like cardio, but also sends the body a signal that it needs to preserve muscle. This way, the physique you achieve after losing weight will be more aesthetically pleasing. These are all the common misconceptions about weight loss. I hope this information helps you.